Hey nerds, in this video we are going to be talking about how to do the frosting, okay? So I have a couple things on my donut where we're talking about this light blue stuff in the background and how to make that look 3D on your donut itself, okay? So if you're looking for the video about getting the shading here and here, okay, that's not this one. Check my previous video, that's where it is. Anyways, so first of all, you need to have like your actual frosting kind of on there. And if you see a donut, usually the frosting's not perfect. So I usually just sort of draw it in like sort of wavies around the outside, maybe some big waves, some little waves in there. And it's close to the edge, but it doesn't touch the edge. And I'm going to do the same thing on the inside. Okay? There we are. Okay? From our previous video, we talked about how we had the light source. And now that gave us an idea where the value is going to go. Okay? We talked about how the opposite side is usually where the shadow is, and the side that's closest to our light source is usually the lightest part. So how that kind of works with our donut itself is you're going to need a few colors, okay? So we're not going to be doing black and white frosting. Gross, okay? I'm going to be doing some blue frosting because I just felt like it, okay? And this light color is going to be my main color for my blue frosting. So what I'm going to end up doing, I'm just going to do a section of it rather than the whole thing, is I'm going to be neatly filling in my whole frosting section. I'm just going to do a chunk of it so you guys can see kind of like how things are going to go, and then I'm going to show you all the spots that would have the value, okay? So if I wanted to have nice and light like this, I can leave it like this, or if I wanted to use the full darkness of my color, that is okay as well. I'm going to get close to the edge on some of these so you can see how I'm going to do some of this blending and stuff in just a short bit, okay? So when you use colored pencils, remember they don't erase quite the same as regular pencils, okay? So you want to make sure that you're taking your time and being neat, because sometimes, especially the dark colors, doesn't erase very well. So I would fill in that whole section of my frosting with my base color that I really, really like, okay? Keeping in mind that I'll be using this base color, but a little bit lighter on the far edges that are close to the light, okay? Any spot that's going to have the shadow to it, that's where we're going to need a second color for our frosting, okay? You're going to want a darker version. It doesn't have to be a super dark version, but you want a darker version, okay? And I'm going to be sort of tracing, going around the outside edge of my frosting on the opposite side. So if my sun's right here, okay, my shadow is going to be this whole section here. Anything that's opposite of that sunlight, and then it'll kind of stop right here because my sun will kind of reach that side. And then for the inside, it's going to be here on the opposite side because you have the frosting, which we want to make sure it looks like the frosting is coming up from the donut a little bit. So you want your shadow right here on this side, okay, because the light will hit this edge of my frosting, okay. And how you kind of create that value is by slowly going from dark on the solid edge and then gently sort of swishing your, like I make sort of like swoopy scribbles with my pencil and kind of blend it in to the next color. And here's what it looks like kind of in zoom, okay? Here's the edge of my donut, okay? And then here's all my other color, okay? I'm going to do a little bit sloppy, so please do better than me. All right. And then what's going to happen is I'm going to try to blend this into here, okay? Remember how we were doing our blending scales, for our value scales with color, blending two together. That's where I start dark, and I get a little bit lighter and a little bit lighter as I move away from my blue. Start dark, move a little bit lighter, and it blends it together. Dark, a little bit lighter, a little bit lighter. Starting at dark, a little bit lighter, okay? And that's what you're going to do on all those edges that have that darker of your colors, the darker of your values, go there. So all the spots that you're going to have the shadows, okay, they're right here, okay, so you're going to include this. And then the areas that are going to be a little bit lighter, I'm just going to kind of circle or highlight for you, okay? This is your light spot right here, okay? Here's your other light spot right here, okay? Notice how this will be directly hit. You might not think this directly hits, but if our light's probably not right next to the donut, it's probably a little bit above, so it'd be coming down and it would hit that section of our donut there. So in order to create that highlight, you need to make sure that you don't use the full pressure on your pencil, okay? So that means I'm going to do a little example here. Let's say this is the other side of my donut frosting right here, okay? It just means that I want to go nice and light right here, okay? It can still be blue, okay? Your frosting didn't turn white on the edge, okay? But you want to have it a little bit lighter, and then you'll gradually get darker as you move into the center, okay? And then they'll end up blending together. So you can see how I went from a dark blue into the main blue, which will be the whole part of my frosting, and then it gets lighter on the outside edge, okay? If you have a hard time trying to make sure that this is nice and smooth, you may have a white colored pencil, and that's something that you can use as a blending tool to smooth that out, okay? So that's the basics of how you're going to be adding value to the frosting part if you have frosting on yours. If you have any other questions, please let me know. I'm more than happy to help, and check out my other videos on how to add value to like sprinkles and drizzle for your plate as well.